Do, 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 do. Kilted
Kilted
balls.
balls.
Woo! I
There
love
we
the
go.
echo.
Nice.
Hey, people, lucky you. You get a second episode of Kilted Balls this week. You may be wondering why that is. Did they just have tons of free time? No! If you watched the last episode, you saw that Kilted was in Gary Vee land, hanging out with Gary Vee and Shaq. So, Kilted, talk to
I
us.
I actually forgot that we recorded.
Nice. Our last episode was so good,
So
Kilted forgot about
so let's just say it's been a busy couple days for me.
it. Nice. Nice. Well, I'm
So
glad you're with us now. Glad you're with us.
yes, it was awesome. I mean, I guess anyone who heard about it and who's been listening would have thought that I thought it was going to be cool. It was amazing. So it was a very small venue. I don't know what they play there. I think it's where they do the 3-on-3, but it was kind of like a full court. But
Okay.
the stands were small, so they might be doing something else there. But yeah, so we were like one of the first people in line. Everyone was talking in line and stuff. We did not, there was like parties the night we got in, which we got in late. Obviously, we were recording late. And
Hmm.
so we didn't do any of that. Got up in the morning, wandered around a little bit and made it over there. So that was fun. We got in, went and sat down and, taking pictures and jibber jabbering with people. And Gary comes out, like walks right up, and is talking to all of us in the stands and like walked right, I mean, just standing right there. And like that was cool. And then he was probably like
Nice.
4 feet away from us talking to some people. We're just standing there and, he's saying hi to everybody. And, I was like, oh, good seeing you again, Gary. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, glad you guys are here. And then he had to take off and get started. So it was Shaq was there, Gary was there, and then the new artist for Goat 8, his name is King Saladin, and he was a
Kim
really
Saladin.
King Saladin. He's a really cool guy. I guess he's known for B BD Money Bear or BK. Actually, I have it right here. I should give credit where credit's due because he's got like his iconic bear that he's made it, but just his whole story and everything was really cool, and to hear that. And then I guess Shaq was running just a little bit late, so he got to come back out and talk a little more. So then Shaq came out and he was really cool, and they did it where it was I'm sorry, JP Money Bear. So
JP Moneybear.
he's with he actually here is, oh, this one's Gina's. This one's
Oh,
the
nice.
the
Cool.
NFT that she got. So the gift goat with the bear.
Yeah.
Mine's more black and stuff, but they're both really cool. We got those drops like while it was happening. And Gary wanted it to be mostly just question and answer. So got in line real fast, and like a couple people in line, like before we came into the building, they're like, oh, what's that? You trying to get autographs because everyone got the email that said it's not an autograph thing. And I was like, no, like I'm kind of keeping it a secret, blah blah blah. Just because like I was like, if something happened where I wasn't gonna be able to do it, then I didn't want to like make a big deal of it. And then actually I wondered like, well, should I just try to hand it to Gary and say, hey, can you do this for me? But I
Yeah.
decided not to. I was actually one of the last people like that was able to ask our question. And I have Gina was supposed to send me the video. I don't have it yet. We'll have to play it Tuesday but it was
Upload it to
basically,
a mini.
oh yeah, great idea. But I was just like, hey, like you're an epic giver. Gary Vee obviously gives everything away. I saw that you had a mutant ape, but you missed out on bored apes. Don't worry, you're not late to the party, but I know you missed out on this. And I gave it to him. So well, I gave it to his guy who gave it to him. So it was
Yeah.
super cool. It was super cool.
That's awesome.
I did
Hopefully
forget to
he
say it's a bored ape basketball, but That's all right, because people came up like, "What was that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a Bored Ape basketball." And a lot of even gift goat holders who are familiar with Bored Ape had no idea there was a Bored Ape basketball.
Really?
Hmm.
Well, that's super cool. I hope Shaq knows what he got and appreciates it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he has lots of basketballs, but he may not have a basketball like that.
No, and hopefully, like he sends you a thank you note.
Not expecting
Shaq, if you're
anything.
Shaq, if you're listening to us, a shout out to Kilted Dragon Jared would be awesome.
That'd be
Thanks
crazy
for the
awesome.
Board
Oh,
Ape
oh,
ball.
see, Gina's sending me stuff right now. She heard me.
Oh, I thought it was Shaq
Oh
messaging
yeah,
you on
Shaq
Discord.
messaging us instantly.
Yes, he's like,
So
oh, I listen live.
and then one of the guys his I don't know if it's his actual name or his name he goes by, but Shiv, he's like, "Hey, I'm having an after party. Food and drinks are on me. Everyone, come over." It was like across the street from
Hmm.
where it was at. So it wasn't even on my radar. But Gina's like, "Hey, let's go over there. I think it'll be fun." And Tristan watched the little guys for us. So, super thankful to him. And it was
Nice.
really cool. We made friends with the guy who got both of us out in the competition. I have a video of
Nice.
that too. The whole time I was like, okay, just don't shoot it short because you don't want to be chasing an air ball around. And
Right.
and I think it made it 6 or 7 rounds, and then I airballed it, and then
Oh,
and then he had missed his shot, and I tried to like do like a reverse layup from behind the
yeah.
basket and just messed it up. I'll have to play that. It's hilarious. Gina got that on video too.
That's
My
great.
chagrin.
I can't believe you missed. I mean, you're like a pro. So
Yeah,
it's
I
kind of
hadn't touched.
surprising.
I guess I touched a basketball earlier that day, but I hadn't actually thrown a basketball into a hoop in a long time. But it
Oh
was
my
it was super
gosh.
fun. Like the people at the end, when it got down to what, like 6, 8 people, like they were basically all making their free throw shots right away. So it was
Really?
just like the person who missed, like the other person would put them out. So it was pretty exciting. I would have never, well, not never, but I switched it a couple times. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta switch. Like it went in.
And
I
no
didn't have to
trash talking,
rebound it.
right? You weren't like, oh, you better recognize.
I was not.
No.
Nope. I was making sure not to trash talk. The guy in front of me was nice, and I had paused a couple times where like I could have shot right away to make sure his went in. So,
Aw,
that's how I am.
they
But
are
but
nice.
old Harry, he had his Lakers jersey on, and then Gina found out later he had been like practicing for weeks and like had it on his Insta and stuff. So
That's great.
she was chapped. Yeah, Harry. And so yeah, that was fun. We ended up talking with him a lot more. He was from London. So
Okay.
yeah, actually last night we were hanging out with a guy from London quite a bit, a guy from Israel quite a bit, a guy from Greece quite a bit, guy from
Wow.
Canada. So yeah, we met a lot of people. I think I'm gonna shoot. I was gonna run this by you, and let's do it on the air because we haven't been doing as many interviews. But I
Yeah.
think especially like a group like that, someone in the space, and then also, you know, if not entrepreneurial tendencies, but just like different paths that people have taken. I'm like, I bet you we could get a couple interviews from different
Oh my
from
gosh, that'd be
different goat
cool.
holders.
I think I
So
would love to interview goal holders. And if nothing else, you should interview the people who interviewed you.
yeah, I didn't
All
get
right.
interviewed. Gina got interviewed. She was talking with Harry and no, it was someone else. Anyways, she was standing next to someone else that we had met there, and the people are like, "Oh, we're gonna interview you too," and they're both like, "Okay." It was when I was playing.
Uh-huh. Sure, sure. She found a new
Hmm.
sugar daddy.
I know. So it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to talk to people and just hear, their projects or paths that they're taking and things that they want to do and what they feel about the space in general. So it was good.
Were there a lot of people who had projects there, like in the NFT space?
Not really. There were a couple different people who could do stuff. Like one guy, the guy from Greece, he had on his phone, he had it where it would you just no, he was you scan the QR code and then it was his like all of his contact information, so you could just save it in your phone.
Oh, wow.
And like he didn't have an iPhone, so I just moved it to WhatsApp. And there's a Gift Goat WhatsApp group too, so he showed me that. Another guy he had to carry it around. It was maybe, well, I don't have anything here that really shows the size, smaller than a CD. It was round, and his you just tapped it and it would send all of his information. So he was carrying around this cool little thing that you just tapped, and same idea.
Wow,
But
that's pretty cool.
yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. Just some different things like that, and then people, there are different people talking about stuff that they wanted to do and ideas they had and stuff like that. Actually, it was funny. We were talking about it all, but just like a couple people of all the people that we were talking with last night, that maybe we had more than like a 1 or 2 minute conversation with, were all people who were in line to ask Shaq a question. like like oh weird, like those people were more outgoing than like some of the other people.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense.
It was
I would
funny.
think. That's awesome. So, and that after party was super cool then. Did
Yeah,
you, what was the food like? Good?
it
Good
was, I mean,
drinks?
it was bar food and bar drinks. So basically it was the other, like the Sheridan was attached to it, and then this was called the 12s. And I didn't book my hotel till late, and both of them were $400 a night, and I was like,
Mm,
we stayed a mile away for 100 a night.
yeah, it's probably a
So
good idea.
so it was a nicer hotel. The food looked good. I mean, we after the event, we went out with the kids and we ate. So we had already eaten by the time we get there, but I mean, it was cool. The King Saladin was there, so it was cool talking with him a bit more and stuff, and just chatting. And
That's
yeah, like
awesome.
Gary was invited. If he showed up, it was before we got there, and I didn't hear anything. I mean, he said he
Yeah.
tried to, which that would be a stretch. But the cool thing, so at the end, and we'll have some pictures on our social media. Like we're like super, like we went over when they were giving the rewards out, so that we were watching everybody, and then Gary comes over, and it's like the circle forms around him, and everyone's talking and stuff, and they do a picture, and so some people were asking him questions, and we were like right there, maybe like two or three back, and
Right.
people were asking questions and moving out. And like he was getting ready to leave, he's like, hey, I gotta go. And then he was answering another question. Then he looks at Gina and he says, do you want to take a picture? And she said, yes, yes. So he grabbed the camera and he took some selfies with her and I and him.
Uh,
So that was really cool.
nice.
I
Was he
thank you,
really
Gary.
sad when you stepped up too?
Yeah, I'm sure he was. I sneak in the back. I was like, hey, Gary.
He's like, "Hey, girl, you want to get a selfie with me?" And she's like, "Yeah." And you're like, "Hey, hey."
I'm just standing tall in the back, but it was cool. I mean, you can, just by watching him and being so close, like so close, so many times, you can really see he's watching everything. So he probably saw her standing there, not pushing, not shoving, just waiting patiently.
Hmm.
She had her phone out and stuff, and just probably recognized that.
That's awesome. So
Maybe
super
and maybe
cool.
he saw us earlier. So it was cool.
Yeah,
It's
that's
awesome.
super cool, I
And there
think.
was there was one other thing I was gonna say, but he asked her for the picture. There was something else I can't remember right now, but it was really cool. But yeah, the food there looked amazing because they had like little snacks there.
Yeah.
Like I think there was like five different little restaurants that were there. Everything from like little baby cannolis to some beef tartare on like a little pizza looking thing, and like
Right, right.
little mini sliders and stuff. Looked awesome, but I
That's
didn't eat
super
any of
cool.
that. Mhm.
Oh man. Why didn't you have any of that?
I was I don't know. Oh, because we had just had lunch.
Oh,
Vacations are all about like eating and then doing
yes.
something and then eating, and
Yeah. Well, I think just eating continuously would have been good. That's why I was surprised you didn't eat a whole bunch while you're standing there,
Well,
because I
I
would have
mean,
just kept on eating.
you know me. Like if I eat too much, I get the screaming shits. So and
That's true. That's true.
I did
That would
not
have
want
been
that to happen.
inopportune.
Yes.
So,
So I just drank some fizzy water and I was all good. And
and then got to play 6 rounds of basketball before he got booted.
yep,
So,
yep. And it was funny because there was one guy last night. He was from Mexico, he said, and he's like, "Are you Irish? Are you Irish? Why are you wearing that?" And I was like, "No, I just really enjoy it." And
first off, that's Scottish, buddy.
that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I guess that'll be nice. But then he did say he really liked scotch, and I was like, oh, we'll have to have a scotch next time because we were like walking out the door when he flagged me down. But
Yeah,
he had just bought his goat. He got it for 16 ETH just recently,
that's
he said,
that's
within
a
the last couple of
sale.
months. Yeah, yeah.
16 ETH, where ETH is right now. I
Hmm.
mean, a lot of the gifts are passed, but
Yeah.
still,
Yeah, we're almost halfway done with the gifts. And this gift is going to be a like I'm guessing it's going to look similar to the NFT, but 3x3 print and then like done up whatever, and then we stretch it and put it on. So some people are complaining about the prints. I don't I'm way on the other side. I'm like to the opposite extreme of a lot of people, and anyone belly aching. And I think we talked about this early, and I know we talked
yeah,
about it with Jason, but like yeah, and I said it last night because someone was like, well, blah blah blah, it's a print. Like, okay, like I was expecting a chewed pen cap and some toenails as one of the gifts. Like, not all of them are going to be crazy, and that was way before the NFTs on each one. So
Well,
I
and
don't know.
honestly, I could see you getting a pen cap that was chewed by Gary Vee and a toenail, and you framing it in a little box frame and hanging it up. So
That is true.
I think that's reasonable.
So I don't the people who bellyache about it and things like that. I don't understand. And they're like, well, what about the people who paid 100 grand for it? Like there were already gifts out by then. And
Yes.
yes, that we knew the NFT. So all those people knew what they were getting into. All these people that are complaining, and like a lot of people there minted. Like, yeah, we minted. Yeah, it costs whatever it cost, but we were
Yeah.
all taking it. We were all taking a chance on Gary and on Be Friends anyways, because like we had no idea.
And honestly, if you minted, I think you've gotten your money's worth. Right.
Absolutely.
I think you've gotten your money's worth if you minted. If you paid 100,000, you paid 100,000 to be part of the club. You weren't
Yep.
paying 100,000 for the gifts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Or you're thinking that you'll be able to sell it for more, but I don't understand that logic.
Yeah.
So
So
maybe.
I don't know. I mean, just even though this wasn't officially part of anything, I mean, just being just gift holder, it
Yeah.
was awesome. It was well worth it.
I think it sounded amazing. I think it's super cool. So, and how awesome you two got to go do it together. That's like crazy
Yeah,
sweet.
that
Super
was
sweet.
super fun. That was super
Yeah.
fun.
Because I wasn't sure you guys would both be able to go. So
I didn't think so.
that's
Because
awesome.
it was so close. I mean, and we did something educational today. We went to the Harry Potter experience is traveling. So
And
I
was
guess
it
it's in
awesome?
Atlanta, and it was really cool. It wasn't like where they filmed it in England. Like that museum is amazing. But
Yeah.
for what they had there, and I thought it was pretty awesome. It was $20 to get in for adults.
Yeah.
So that was well worth it. I mean, everything in there was crazy, crazy overpriced, but like the experience to see the movie stuff, to see a lot of the costumes and things like that, I would suggest it to anybody if you're in Atlanta and you're a Harry Potter fan.
Nice. That's cool. So I had an interesting convo last night that I thought you'd be interested in,
Mm-hmm.
and our listeners as well. So I'm at an event, and there's a friend of mine who used to be the township supervisor,
Okay.
and now he works for the treasury in the state, right? So he does stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I don't know how we started talking about crypto and stuff, but I said something about doing NFTs as inventory, like as a dealer. And I
Mm-hmm.
forget why. I don't even remember why it came up. And
Yeah.
he's like, why would you be claiming them at all? And I'm like, well, because I'm making money off of it. And, it's the honest kind of thing to do. And he's like, how
Yeah.
is that honest? I go, what do you like? He's a super honest guy,
Yeah.
right? Like, he's a good guy. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, how is it honest? He goes, well, there's no rules regarding NFTs, and there's no way to track the NFTs you have. He goes, so if there's no rules, then there's no tax. And he goes, why are you even worrying about it? He goes, eventually they'll come up with rules. And he goes,
Mm-hmm.
and when they do, he goes, yeah, they could backdate it. He goes, but it's more likely they'll front date it and say, in the next 2 years, you have to treat them like this, and they'll sunset it.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I wouldn't even like pay attention to it right now. And I was like,
Wow.
I'm like, good to know. I go, because I go, I'll probably treat him as like a dealership and inventory and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know why you would.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I go,
I wonder
most
if
people
it's
think you
possible.
treat them. I
I
go,
wonder if it's
most people
possible to
say
change
treat
my
them like
stuff.
their property or like,
Yeah.
pictures or, stocks. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, but he goes, they're not. Like he doesn't know anything about them really. But
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, but they're not that stuff. And they haven't told you how. And he goes, so if the IRS hasn't told you how, then you don't treat them like anything. Like it's not a thing. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's a person who, I normally trust business savvy wise. Obviously,
Yeah.
he's not a tax advisor or accountant, and none of this is financial advice, but it was definitely like I always think of him as kind of super honest.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, that's not being honest. He's like, that's being dumb. I was like,
I agree.
oh, I'm like, okay then.
I agree totally. Like, especially after everything that's obviously that's happened with me over the last couple months.
Right, right, for sure. That's what made me think of it because I was like, I've got to tell him that
Mm-hmm.
because this
I
guy
don't think
seemed
I
to
can.
think like, why do it?
I don't think I can change anything.
No, they'd probably like be like, wait a second,
Like, how did this happen?
right? But it'd be interesting to be like, get audited and then be like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay. I mean, they're not going to, right? Like they'll take your money. If you're going to give them the money, they'll take your money,
Yes.
right? They don't care.
Yeah. No, that's
More
super,
funding for
super
them.
interesting. That's super
Yeah,
interesting.
and I don't know why. Like I said, I don't know why it came up,
Mm-hmm.
but it was interesting. I was like, okay, people will care about that. That's going to go
Yeah.
into the podcast.
Oh, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, good to know anyway. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if it'll change what I do in the future or not, but it might.
Yeah,
It might.
it could.
They're a tricky thing. And again, it's what I've been saying all along. I don't know how people can expect you to treat something some way if there's no direction on how to treat it. It's a new thing.
Yes.
And if you don't tell me I need to treat it as a collectible, then how do I treat it as a collectible? And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't tell me I need to treat it as stocks, how can I treat it as stocks?
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I go back to. If you buy and sell artwork at a flea market,
Mm-hmm.
you bought it at a flea market, you sell it at a garage sale, nobody cares.
Well, you're supposed to, but yes, you're right.
No, but nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. Nobody's auditing that. Nobody's like, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
You bought it, you sold it, you gave it to Goodwill,
Yeah.
right? Nobody really cares. And if you're getting like, it's like a certain threshold of money. And the other thing I come back to is unless you don't get to do it this way, unless you also let me take all the zeros,
Yes.
right? Because in stocks, you get those zeros,
Mm-hmm.
right? But right now, there's been no guidance. So you and I have lots of zeros.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so shouldn't I get credit for all those zeros?
Mm-hmm.
I would say I should.
Yes.
But then here's the next thing. Not only that, like let's say you sell your Happy Meal toys in a garage sale. Again, nobody's sitting there going, oh no, you need to record every Happy Meal toy you sell
Yeah.
individually. And nobody's doing that. But yet, Pepsi, McDonald's, all of these can give out NFTs willy nilly. And you all of a sudden expect me to pay because they gave me that. They gave me a Happy Meal toy. You don't expect me to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like if I go to the Ren Fest and somebody's handing out swag, you're not like, oh, you got to pay for those samples. But they
Mm-hmm.
make an NFT and then they're like, yeah, you probably have to pay for that. I
Yeah.
get it
And
if
something that's airdropped and then you make money on it.
right. But and I would understand, I think, if you made real money. Okay. If I'm getting all the Happy Meal toys and then I'm selling them on Amazon as collectibles now that they're rare, that's a totally different conversation. Totally. I get that. But if I'm just getting something and selling it for $5 or throwing it in the trash, like I'll pay the tax on the $5 if you let me write off the tax for throwing it in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's fair. So
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, so interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think that's super awesome. That's really interesting. We'll have definitely have some more talks about this.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. The other thing I've been really thinking about more and more lately, we've been talking about our strategies and stuff, and I've been kind of having this golden rule 10%. And I made that trade on air, by the way, for those of you, I don't know if we did a follow-up after that, but that future trade, I cashed it out at 10%. So I think it was 10%
Yes.
by
Oh
the
yeah,
time
because
we
that
got
was just that was
offline.
just 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I cashed it out at 10% right away. And you know, it wasn't much money, but I was like, well, 10% is 10%. And so everything I've been doing is when it's 10%, you roll it in. And I'm like, you know, on this future, I've been doing it wrong, I think, whenever I play my futures. Because we're so impatient and greedy, what the new strategy has taught me is you can't be impatient. You got to let compounding do its job. And I'm like, I need to do the same thing with futures. Like today, I really wanted to open a future. I don't know why I got the bug, but there was nothing there. And I'm like, here's the thing. If I can make like 5, 10, 10%, I'm doubling my money, right? But if I screw up and take a 20% loss, I need 3 more of those to make up for that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you gotta not try to force it. If you make one of those trades a week, like I did, like me just saying, I know this is what's going to happen, boop, 10%, call it good. In a couple months, you've doubled your money and life is good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that needs to be more of the mindset for all of the stuff that we play with, that you have to go with. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm not going to be impatient. I'm just going to chill. And that's really hard for me. So that's my growth. That's my growth that I'm going to work on. Like just sitting there and going, all right, just chill. Okay, now I see the 10% about to come. I'm going to make my bet, try to get my 10%, roll it in, and keep on compounding. So that's my thing. That's the thought for the day,
awesome.
people.
Love
If
it.
you're going to get into the compounding thing, it's all about being patient and letting things compound.
Let it go.
So let it go. Let it go. Right? Well, heck, I said 10, but really it's in like 11 or 12, you triple your money.
Yeah.
So if you know, 2-3 months, if you did it once a week, you're doing great. And if you can do it more than that, then that's even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But you just got to chill and not fight it. Not do it when it's risky. Not do the 60-40.
Yes.
It's got to be like a 90-10. Like I am 90% sure this is going to be the flip I want. Broop,
Mhm.
and then you do it. So, all right. Any final
Great.
words? Any final thoughts on your Shaq Gary V experience?
No, thank you for anyone for and everyone for listening and following along. I had an awesome time, and I'm not trying to pump my bags, but get a gift goat. I'm
That
keeping
is
mine,
pretty
so there's
sweet.
no bag pumping. So
No, it's probably harder and harder to get them, but cheaper apparently. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
heck yeah. All right. Well, this is Ballbuster signing off. You guys have a great weekend.
Yep, Kilted Dragon Jerry, love you all.